this zoomed in and get my phone up here. Let's see. There we go. Just getting set up here. I don't know if there's, I can't.
In progress.
Oh my. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Just getting this all set up so I can make sure I'm staying where I'm supposed to be. And for some reason, it's not allowing me to. Here we go. I want to get this zoomed in as close as I can because this is a small image. I do have this, printed out, this right here at 4 inches. So it can be rather small, but it's small enough to where it can go onto a card if you want it to go onto a card. If I repeat myself today or say a lot, I'm really sorry. I have a really bad migraine that I have not been able, I've had it for like 6 days. I haven't been able to get rid of it yet. So it's going to take me a little bit to think about stuff. But we're going to go ahead and get started on our skin. She doesn't have a whole lot of skin. I do like that this is more of a realistic type image instead of a cartoon type image. I think we've done a lot together. There's a lot of videos in there of me doing cartoon type images between La La Land Crafts and between La La Land Crafts. I haven't done too many of the CC Designs images, and I don't think I have any printed out right now, but if we have extra time, I'll go ahead and stamp one out of the new ones that I have, and we can go over Caucasian skin for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I tried to ramble on as long as I could. Whoops, wrong pen. So the pens we're going to use for Caucasian skin, you guys are used to me using these. It's E21, E00, E11, E04, R30, and R20. These are my go-to colors for Caucasian skin. So you can, if you have a larger image, I will add in some E000, but that's only for larger images. So I'm going to start out with the E11. Go. And you know what? I need to go ahead and turn on my light. It's a little dark here today. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So there's a little bit more light and less shadows. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with E11. And her neck, this image is a little bit harder because you can't really tell where her neck is on this one. So, and it looks like her neck actually jutes out quite far. But this right here is, she has a piece of hair here And then this is hair back here, and then this is her chin, and then the back of her head. And I'm doing really thin strokes because we have very little space to color. So, and I'm just going to go up behind all the roses here. And then I'm going to go and do a little bit here underneath her chin and bring this part up. So this right here, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be her chin, but it looks like, because it kind of goes right here, it looks like there's supposed to be a hair right there, and that maybe it's hard to tell where her neck is, but her neck should come out a little bit further than her chin. So I'm just going to go ahead and pretend that this is her neck, I guess. So then she would go ahead and she would have a little bit of a shadow here at the bridge of her nose. And then right here. And then we will have some shadow here in her hair. I'm not making a straight line because her hair line obviously isn't straight. And then we're just going to go ahead and go around the hair and the top of the ear. And then we'll go inside the ear just a little bit. Then right along the back side of her head. And get this part. And then you also want to get right here underneath her lip. And then you'll get right here underneath her nose. So now I'm going to use my EO4. I'm going to go ahead and put a cast shadow here on her hair. I'm going to put another cast shadow here. And all along this hairline here. Go ahead and put it on this side of this hair. And then you'll get the inside of her ear. This is the nice thing about having more realistic images. I do tend to go a little bit slower with them just because there is a little bit more and things are a little bit more detailed. So I tend to use just a thin line on things. I'm going to go ahead and get here. Then I'm going to go ahead and get a cast shadow here. You know what I should do really fast is I should just let me look this up really fast. I have my tablet right here. I can just pull this up and see how Mitzi has it. Let's see. I don't think I have Etsy. Oh, I don't think I have Etsy on my tablet. So let me just pull that up. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so sorry, this is taking a minute. There we go. Here's the shop. She has so many beautiful, beautiful images. And this one, I think this was called Rose Garden. But I will just put in Rose. I just want to see where her neck is. And that's one thing that's really nice about Mitzi is you can get these full colored she'll show you the full colored image. Okay, so that is her neck underneath a little bit. Looks like she has some shadow going on here. I'll actually take it off and show you. So it looks like she has, like, this is her neck here, but then she has shadow from, my finger's in the way, but right here, this is all her hair. And then you have her neck and the beginning of her chest here. So that's one nice thing about Mitzi is she will, when you buy the image, she has a lot of great stuff on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some cast shadows here. I remember when Mitzi would draw more, she would always tell me, oh, it's just personal interpretation. And that used to be so hard for me to do. Because I really like to try and stick with what the artist has done, because if I didn't like what they had done, I obviously would not have even bought the image in the first place. So I'm just blending out that EO4. That way the shadow looks more like a shadow. There we go. Just going along her skin. If I get done with this part too, and I may just go ahead and do her hair as well for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and use E21. E21, I'm just going to come out from her hair. Just like this. I may just ask Mitzi if she has another image that we can have for Latino skin. Just because I love Mitzi's images. It actually feels, to me anyways, I feel absolutely wonderful having the time to color her stuff again. So I came up a little bit far because those roses are going to be really causing a lot of shadow, so there won't be any light really hitting it. So now I'm going to get her cheek with the R20. And when I do cheeks, I usually, if you look at your eye and you look right underneath your eye, that's where your cheekbone starts and your cheeks come around. So I'll usually pretend, okay, here's her eye. So here's where her cheek would be, right? And I usually come in from the hairline a little bit. Okay. And you guys know I go a little bit high because I don't want it to look like it's just, I want her face to connect. I don't want the bottom half of her face to look, like it's not connected to the top part of her face. So I usually don't put a whole lot of blush on them, and it gets blended out anyway, so I don't really worry about where I'm putting it. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish out this part of her skin here. I'm going to pull this out a little. I'm not finishing up her skin completely on her face because I wanted to show you the E000. So let me grab that really fast. That's not something I planned on doing, but So here's the E000. Now the E000 has a lot of colorless blender in it. So I'm actually going to flick into the other colors instead of pulling it out because I don't want it to over blend. If you do have harsh lines though, the E000 is good for doing that, but as you can tell, it's looking like it's over blended. So I only do it sparingly. And then I'm going to go, whoops, wrong marker. Now I'm going to go back over it with the E21 and get some of that shadow back. And I know it looks dark, but that's okay. So I'm going to go back over it with the E00. And I'm going to smooth that out. And now I'm just going over the E000 as well, but it will also smooth out the, make it a little bit lighter. One thing you can do too with her eyelids, like I told you, she has the shadow right here. And then you can go ahead and put the shadow here as well. And right here. I'm just kind of putting that back in there. And I'm going to make this in her ear a little bit darker. And I'm going to make just right here a bit darker around her hairline. Okay. So that was a little bit faster than what I had intended. So let me go ahead and touch this up just slightly. I'm just pulling this out a little bit. I don't want to lose the shadows on her face. Okay. So this is supposed to be about skin. Oh, her lips. Lips, lips, lips. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of EO4 in the corner and bring it out where her lips come together. And then because I'm giving her red roses, I'm going to go ahead and use my R29. And I'm just going to very, very gently pull that out. Okay. So let me see what else I have printed out really fast. Oh, here's this one. She's kind of cartoony. She has more skin. So we'll do this one. This one is by Paper Shelter. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little girl skin. This one is called Ellie. I'll go ahead and get you guys a link to that as soon as we're done with class. But she has a whole lot more skin than this one does, and it's a little bit different skin type because she's not realistic like this one. She's more cartoony. So this little girl has a wee little ear right here in her hair. And then come around to her little bob. Okay. And then right here, this is the part of the eye that I was telling you about, where it looked like they have cheeks. Okay. And then I'm just going to bring this down. And then she'll have a little bit of a shadow here with her hair. So I'm going to bring that out, and a little shadow with her lip. And then Paper Shelter, I usually, she has a little divot right here. That's actually a little nose. So I usually turn my card upside, or my image upside down, so I can get a little bit of a bridge in there. Pull this out just slightly. And then her little neck. Her neck is much easier to find. And then I usually go over her shoulder. Then she has little shirt here. Now, I don't and never really have put cleavage or anything like that on my images. But I know that Alice from Kitten Clouder, she teaches that. And so you could just put like a little line right there and it would give her cleavage if you really absolutely wanted to. But I don't normally teach that. I like to keep my images sweet and innocent. So down the side of her arm, I have the shadows coming from this direction and this direction. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go under her foot, get around the rim of her little shoe. And that is it. I did come out just slightly from her shoe because if the sun's coming this way, the butterfly and her shoe are going to be blocking the top of her leg. Okay. So now I'm going to use EO4. And I'm just going to go right down this way. Okay. And then she'll have a little bit right here. I'm just going around along the bangs. And right here underneath her hair. And then she'll have a little bit right here under the hair, a little bit under her neck. She'll have just a little at her little top of her little dress. She'll have a little bit here on the side, and then some where her dress hits her leg, and then where her leg sits on the toadstool, and from her shoe. And you know what I forgot, because I did it the last time that I colored this too, is right here, this is actually her face. Her eye only comes over to where this little eyelash comes down. So I totally forgot that. So I'm going to go back in with the EO4 and just barely touch on that right there. Now I'm going to go back to my E11 and just pull out that EO4. Now there's so much EO4 going on in her face. Right here where her ear is. Look, I didn't even have to put any EO4, but it still is there. And that's one thing, you know how you have tip to tip blending? That's basically what you're doing when you're doing it this way. It also works. It's really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and I've made this way too dark. So I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. Go ahead and get right here. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I didn't do a cast shadow here. And that's because she just has the shadow coming in from the sun. She doesn't have the shadow like from her dress or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get her leg now. There we go. And we're done with that one as well. So next comes the E21. And I'm just going to pull this out just a little because there isn't a whole lot of space on her face. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and go down here. Get the rest of her face there. I'm just going to put a little smile line right there because you know she's got one. Finish out her ear. Come down her arm. Here we go. That's E21. So now we have the cheeks to do, which is R20. This one you're not going to see quite as much, so it's just going to be a little tiny bit at the end. Then we're going to do R30. There we go. And now we're going to finish it all out with the E00. Make sure you don't go in her eye like I just did. I'm going to have to use my 0 to get that out of her eye now. Here we go. Get her chest and her arms. Smooth out those lines. Here we go. And that is Miss Ellie's skin as well. So you have two different types of skin here. So you have cartoon, and then you've got realistic, and those are super fun and super easy to do. Apparently, because it only took me half an hour to do it. I did tell you I was going to use, this one is dry. I was going to use my 0 to get out her eye. Now, when you use the 0 with these, it's not hard to get it out, but you do want to be careful because it will bleed, like bleed. And then I'm going to get right here under her chin where I went out of that line a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to show you eyes really fast on Miss Ellie. I really enjoy doing eyes. That's another reason why I am happy to be doing, let's see, I'm going to use B02, B00, and B01, I think. And then you'll also need C1 as well. So I'm going to use the B02 first, but I enjoy images like this because I can do the eyes. And I really love being able to make the eyes any color that I want. So I only go about, I don't know, about a quarter of the way down. I don't normally go about halfway down. Whoops, I almost dropped it. So B01, I'm just going to pull, I'm going to go into the B02, pull the B01 down just slightly till I get to about the bottom half of the line. And then I'm going to go right about there. Now I'm going to use B00 and just finish out the eye. So the C1 is because you do normally have a shadow where your eyelid hits. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that shadow in. And what it does with your images is it will allow your images to make their eyes come out even more, make them have more depth. So you can see the eyes there. Okay. Another thing I do, let me see if this is, it's a 5 will work, is you have these lines, right, or these little dots there. And I just put in an extra one, but I always make sure that it is on the, they're both going the same way on the same side, because otherwise it makes it look like you're cross-eyed. So it looks like we're done today. We don't really quite, we do Caucasian skin so much. I don't really feel that we really need to go over it a whole lot, because I know that you guys have it down. You guys do skin so well whenever I see your art. So I hope you enjoyed today's class. I really hope you enjoy this image. I will go ahead and be coloring more of this image, and I'll do like a time-lapse video. Okay, so I will see you guys later. I hope you have a good day. Bye now.